Hello, today I'm going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. Today it is the 29th of December and I've just had about 5 days of chilling out with family, eating some nice food and watching telly and really just relaxing. And so now we're back to it, back to the work, back to creating videos, back to working with clients, and I am really excited for today's video. So what I want to talk about is a massive mistake that I once made when it came to New Year's resolutions. And this is in the context of porn addiction recovery, but also really any behaviour in your life at all that you wish to stop. And if you get this wrong, then I can almost guarantee 2026 is going to be significantly harder for you than it really needs to be. And this goes for any year as well. So hopefully this piece of advice can serve you well for every future year. Because when it comes to New Year's resolutions, a lot of people, they'll come up with certain goals and they look really good on paper. But then when it comes to implementing them, they go horribly wrong. And maybe they last for a few weeks, potentially even a few months, but then they come crashing down. And it's almost like they collapse into their old previous routines, a regression to the mean. And in 2020, I had a lot of goals which really kind of destroyed my life in many ways. And that sounds weird. Like, how can you have goals that actually have a net negative impact on your life? But I did. I had these goals that really messed things up for me. And every day I'd write down in my journal things like, don't go on Instagram, don't go on YouTube, don't watch porn, don't masturbate. And lo and behold, what happened is I kept on doing the things that I told myself I wouldn't do. And every year, for years, I had these big, elaborate goals that were all focused on not doing something. And some time has now passed, and I've thought about this for a few years. I've kind of solidified this concept, and I've seen it play out with clients as well. The clients who think in a certain way where they're focusing on not doing something. I've seen what happens. And what happens is it's almost like the more you focus on not doing something, the more likely you are to engage in that behaviour. It's so fascinating how this works. And the way I see it now is these goals are dead. It's like these goals are completely dead. And I've talked about this on some old videos in the past as well. It's not exactly a completely new concept, but I decided today, you know what we're going to call them? We're going to call these goals graveyard goals, GGs if you like. So graveyard goals are basically any goal which someone in a graveyard, someone who isn't any longer here, they're dead, they can achieve it. If someone in a graveyard can achieve the same goal as you, your goal is shit. Like, you really want to reconsider that goal. And I had these dead graveyard goals for so many years, and it just sent me spiraling backwards in my life because I was so focused on not doing something. And you might be wondering, well, what's wrong with not doing something? Like, surely we all want to stop watching porn. Like, we all want to not watch porn. We all want to not spend too much time on social media, or we want to not eat too much food, or whatever it is right for you. It's like, well, here's the thing. There's no such thing as not doing something. It's the language is interesting here, but it doesn't make sense. And so our brain doesn't really understand it. It doesn't align with what is true, which is that we're always, for as long as we're alive, choosing to do something. What are we actually choosing to do and why? And so when you shift your focus from having these dead, non-existent graveyard goals that are actually just getting you into feelings of deprivation and making you feel like there's this thing you want that you can't have, when you shift that into, okay, well, what am I choosing to do and why? And you see that for as long as you're alive, there's always actions, and it's not really anything, there's no such thing as not doing something. Your mind just kind of opens up and you're like, wait, yeah, I'm always doing something. And so let's say you tell yourself, okay, I'm not going to watch porn. Well, what's going to happen is you're going to probably want to watch porn still. You're going to be thinking, okay, I'm not going to watch porn. You're going to build up all this resistance. You may even feel like you can't watch porn because you've told yourself you're not going to watch it. So you've got this idea of like, okay, I can't watch porn because I've told myself this year I'm not going to watch porn. And there's no actual action that you're doing to rewire that neural pathway. Like, you're just focused on not doing something. You have all this resistance. It feels horrible because you're thinking in this way that creates these horrible feelings. Then all you really want to do is get out of those feelings because they feel so awful, so bad. There's all this tension, this resistance. You keep telling yourself, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. And then you go ahead, you do the thing that you've been telling yourself you're not going to do, and you feel like complete shit afterwards. So this is a pattern I was in for so many years. What I really, really recommend anyone who has some New Year's resolutions to do is really focus on, well, what are you actually going to choose to do and why? Inside of the Beyond Compulsion Academy, we talk about this, we have this saying, right? So very often if a client is thinking about not doing something, if a client has some unanswerable questions, what we'll do is we'll shift the thinking right away into, okay, well, what am I choosing to do and why? And we would go to our script in that moment. And the script is a tool which in that moment allows you to think through the choice, experience the compulsive desire without acting on it, and actively, and that's a really key word there, is actively rewire that neural pathway. It's like you're actually choosing to do something, like you're choosing some temporary discomfort to rewire your porn addicted brain. So this is a thing that we're doing. Now, this is what we do inside the Beyond Compulsion Academy. For anyone outside of our program, what I really recommend doing is just starting off with this simple shift of eliminating any single goal in your life that is focused on not doing something, and instead start to consider what's the inverted way of thinking around that thing that you don't want to do, or you feel, well, actually you will want to do it. And that's another key distinction here is, you know, we often tell ourselves we don't want to watch porn, we don't want to watch porn, we don't want to watch porn. Really, we do want to watch porn. So think about the thing that you want to stop. Okay, you've probably been telling yourself, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Well, what are you going to do? And this isn't about substitution. It isn't about replacing it. But in that space there's always an action, right? So between the stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space, you've got this potential for some kind of action. You're either going to choose to engage in the behaviour, or you're going to choose temporary discomfort. Now, with the script, we think all the way through. So that's what we do. It's just so important to realise that you are doing something. So for us, we'd rewire the brain in that moment. You want to have some kind of way to rewire the brain. And if you want to do it in the same way that me and my clients do, then go and book a one-on-one call with me. We can have a little chat, see if you'd be a good fit for the Beyond Compulsion Academy. I'll leave a link below. Eliminate all dead graveyard goals. They are going to ruin your life if you go ahead with those kind of goals. Instead, we're always choosing something. This is so critical. Thank you for listening. Hopefully this is useful to you, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.